This is a multi-year journey you're about to embark on. Yes. Yeah. Who's your best friend?
Nikki.
Spandex.
With a roller coaster ride at the box office, the Disney Plus Marvel original series, She-Hulk Attorney at Law, is the most comedy-oriented addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So was the She-Hulk so bad as the reviewers claim? Spoiler alert. With questionable trailers and a hazardous comedic bent, She-Hulk Attorney at Law felt judged long before its debut, and the results were mostly unfavorable after release. The announcement of this film sparked a lot of interest in the Marvel community. After all, with ambitious lawyer Jennifer Walters transforming into a superpowered green giant to fight bad men and sexism at the same time. She leads the A-Force, the Avengers all-female unit. We may not be in a forced territory yet, but the She-Hulk was made to demonstrate that with a comedy structure, some big swings, and a slew of cameos and fourth wall breaks. The world could be Jen's oyster. So how good is the She-Hulk on screen? Now that it's officially out, it appears that many of these fears were untrue. The She-Hulk is a daring and amusing reimagining of the She-Hulk via Ally McBeal. As terrible as that combination may seem, perhaps we don't need another Hulk played straight series, at least not one that doesn't start with the Hulk himself. We feel the She-Hulk gambit was a wise one, as they opted for a relatively fresh and possibly audience-growing zone for the MCU, the creamy legal rom-com, just with a superhero. Jennifer Walters is an aspiring attorney with a very thinly veiled secret: she is a Hulk. Cousin of Bruce Banner, a rare accident between the two resulted in her gaining Hulk's abilities, but presumably without the drawbacks of Banner's original mutation. After a quick evaluation, it's evident that Jennifer has very little interest in becoming a superhero and would like to return to her work, but it won't be that easy. Honestly, the finest powers belong to Ruffalo's Hulk, which has been mastered now. But She-Hulk herself is nowhere near as terrible as she was in the trailers, just coming off as highly unnatural around the face hair due to bad CGI. The first episode's island setting is magnificent, as are the colors, and generally it's a well-put-together entry that, once again, Disney Marvel manages to bring to the small screen a level of quality that easily runs alongside its big screen counterparts. Well, except for the last fight, which we can overlook. With the authors now officially confessing they don't know how to write courtroom drama, it's okay, just hire other writers. It's a relief to know that it doesn't matter much here. She-Hulk isn't going for serious legal works, just simple antics. The character pulls it off with enthusiasm. But that is the only area where it comes dangerously close to alienating its inbuilt audience, with Maslany unfairly forced to recite a cliché speech that portrays her character as a spoiled, bossy little brat. Go for a different angle. In that case, there's no way that anybody could come across looking sumptuous, being this ungrateful about getting super strength like the She-Hulk, like the adorable MS. Marvel, She-Hulk could have easily been crafted out without having to be so sarcastic about all those old Avengers who gave their lives to rescue the world. It's a shame because when speaking with Bruce, a person who has gone through a lot and has had to go on a sad trip, her disrespect is fairly unpleasant. It was sarcastic, which is what they're going for, and frankly absurd, which is what they almost get, and the show's delicate balance isn't as measured as it should be, functioning its best in the setting of a light comedy. Still, it's the early days and there's lots of space for improvement. Fortunately, being a light and bubbly character, you can move on quite fast from times like this. The short length keeps the amusement flowing and prepares us for an intriguing season for sure. Getting the benefit of the doubt mostly for Ruffalo and Maslany, and obviously not for a so far unused Jamila Jamil, who shares excellent chemistry with them, and the fact that even without as much Ruffalo going forward, we'll have the always superb Tim Roth to replace him. She-Hulk is definitely worth checking out if you haven't watched it yet. If they put this together properly, as they have done with practically every other Marvel project, it may actually be a really pleasant change. And if it leads to more Hulk, maybe solo Hulk, then that would be excellent. After the first season, the whole series certainly was different. Keeping some relatively short run times and completely sticking to its guns about having no point at all, possibly turning that into the very reason for its mad meta climax, She-Hulk was certainly harmlessly enjoyable and quite engaging in spurts throughout the season. Roth's Abomination, Wong's Wong, Cox's Daredevil, and his great connection with She-Hulk, there's so much that shouldn't have worked but absolutely did. Why did the series face such a backlash? The fresh air about the series was immediately blown away nearly as soon as episode 3 began. The show attempted to emphasize women's empowerment but actively failed to effectively convey the problems of femininity, provide Jen with any genuine enemies to symbolize what she was battling against, or even mention misogyny, chauvinism, and such issues. Jen never really had the opportunity to really stand up for anything or take on any type of value for the series. She-Hulk may have succeeded if it had followed the normal MCU pattern and been simply another MCU entry like the others. Whereas attempting to distinguish out by addressing major issues such as sexism without really doing so resulted in the program failing with audiences and making the struggle to improve gender equality much more difficult. Unfortunately, everything boils down to men bad and other such cliché and pointless statements. The entire show was never able to react to or respond to any of Jen's concerns since she had none to deal with other than a few internet trolls. Jen begins the first episode by making a practice speech and asking huge questions. What are the responsibilities of authority figures? Must they safeguard those who lack power? Or should they be allowed to utilize their authority for their benefit, regardless of others? These are excellent questions for a legal-based show set in the world's largest superhero franchise. Later in the episode, Bruce reminds Jen that she has a responsibility to preserve Earth because she is one of the few individuals with that same power. Unfortunately for us, She-Hulk makes the same errors as Captain Marvel. As the first female-led entry in the franchise, Marvel famously stated that she had nothing to prove to anyone, but the film's attitude suggested otherwise. Marvel had to demonstrate that she had nothing to prove, but she did have something to prove. She-Hulk falls into the same trap, saying she is as good as her male opponents, whether Hulk or co-workers, but always proving it to them is counterintuitive. The MCU has had some great chances to advance female-led tales. The next Thunderbolts appear to be commanded by fan-favorite Yelena Belova White Widow, played by Florence Pugh, while Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. Not because they struggle with internet bullies, but because they are women who have the opportunity to be heroes. And that's where the series ends, over 9 long weeks. After a startlingly brief duration that likely amounts to less real content than the single-planned Wakanda Forever series. She-Hulk is bold in its attempts to redefine expectations, and the series has a great time doing it, but it doesn't actually achieve anything else. It's so busy defying with the wild abandon that it fails to construct any kind of actual concrete universe, comedic or otherwise, leaving it all perilously near to absolutely meaningless, and a million miles away from a genuine MCU team-up, which the climax addresses. All that being said, the series does its best to own this, even if it's an impossibly meta notion to even vaguely own anything, especially when it comes dangerously close to revealing the truth. That pretty much everything even remotely considered an event in the season is undermined by its final episode. But it doesn't so that no one will notice, and in the meantime, it's difficult not to laugh as the first season cascades to an unexpected finish. And yeah, the vintage credits were the best part of the entire program, which kind of speaks volumes about it. Will the She-Hulk have a second season? Moreover, do we really want to see it? If you like this video, make sure to check out our other videos. Feel free to subscribe for more intriguing content. Please let us know if you found the video useful, and we'll see you in the next one.